Michael Herrera has just come forward once again on a podcast called the UAP GERB, in which he has outlined and spoken about his UAP experience that he came forward about last year. Now, in case you don't know about that experience, Marine veteran breaks 14 years silence to make astonishing claim that his 6-man unit saw a hovering octagonal UFO being loaded with weapons by unmarked US forces who threatened them at gunpoint while serving in Indonesia in 2009. Now, this is something that I have covered on the channel before, but he goes on to this UAP GERB YouTube channel, so as you can see here, go and subscribe to them, by the way, they're a very good channel. I've really enjoyed listening to it, but there was one part in particular that really stood out to me, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at today, because it's just very, very interesting. Now, within the podcast, they do speak about the Indonesia experience. They draw the UAP, so we'll take a little look at that very quickly. But then they also talk about the experience. It's mostly about that experience, but this is the kind of the later on in the podcast I wanted to show you guys, because it was just a really odd interaction, and I was curious about it. So let's take a little listen to it together.
No, it's not the same people. These are the good guys. Very
So
few.
these guys weren't involved with the operation you witnessed in 2009?
No, they were not.
But they are aware of those types of
Yes, and they've been
operations.
on similar operations as that, to my understanding.
And so he showed you some things.
Yes.
You've said you went underground.
I can't talk about any of this.
Okay.
Now this is where it gets interesting.
I'm not going to ask you what you saw. What I want to ask you is, why did he show you that? In the sense of
What you could ask is what the things that he has been able to show you or prove. It was a way of him able to prove who he said who he really was.
So right here, just for context, they are talking about an unnamed insider who approached Michael Herrera after they witnessed the this UAP. He came to Michael Herrera and, he wanted to know more, of course. So he went to him, and this is him kind of showing his experience to prove that he was who he said he was, about this kind of insider informant for this division.
that's exactly what
yes.
I was.
It wasn't like I can just take his word and just say, okay, I trust you.
Yeah.
It was a way for them to say, these are the real deal guys,
Right.
because it's not like anybody can just see this shit.
Right.
And I hope one day I can get to a point where I can talk about that.
Yeah.
And because it is mind-blowing. And I thought what I witnessed in 14, 15 years ago was mind-blowing. Yes, it is. But now you actually see things face-to-face of what,
Yeah.
because I'll put it this way. That facility, if these guys were to link up with two politicians and then give them a free access card to everything, it would single-handedly blow the doors off of this whole chicanery of misinformation and all the lies and all the deceit that are being there. This would prove everything, because
What's stopping that from happening?
Right, before we get into that, has Michael Herrera, in that one sentence, just confirmed UFO existence? Has he just confirmed, man-made versions of UAP? Like the TR-3B, for example, which is kind of what he experienced, because he's saying that he had this experience, and then an insider showed what he saw again, but he can't talk about it. He can't go into detail about it, but he can confirm that he actually saw this. And obviously government officials, he's saying, can't be given it because it would blow the door off of everything and expose them for lying, essentially, to the US public, which of course is a felon. So... or felony, sorry. So, this... it gets better.
they're doing that right now, but they're trying to plan it out.
Okay.
And what way, I don't know, but that's what their goal is.
Okay.
And I can't give any details about that being mic'd up and all this, but I can tell you otherwise. But they're upset. A lot of them are upset.
I mean,
that
I
this
guess
is-
I guess what I'm getting at is like, what's their objective with this? Like,
They want-
with reaching out to you and forming this partnership or relationship with you. What is their ultimate motive? Because these are people who are firsthand participants in the program.
Yes, for 30 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they're
Remember the program that people are sworn and written into, the likes of, you know, allegedly Elon Musk, the super elite, the super rich, the benefactors of this thing that shouldn't exist according to the government.
pro-disclosure to
Yes.
a certain extent.
Pro-American, pro-freedom, pro-life. You know, obviously they don't like that people are being murdered over this kind of stuff.
So there's kind of factions within
Yes, that's exactly.
what people call the program.
Yes.
And these are kind of considered the good guys
Yes.
who want to support some level of disclosure and restoring oversight
Yes.
by Congress. And
So the other reason is that these guys were somewhat tasked to try to go through us or infiltrate, right? I think what would have happened is these guys would have been whistleblowers or considered whistleblowers themselves. Not in a public fashion like I'm doing or anybody else that's in my shoes. But I think what happened was now that I came forward and what I experienced is directly related and directly involved with what they've been doing, it was more of a chance for them to say, okay, we can lay low, but now we have a spokesperson for us that can get this information out and tell and help us get information out to the right people. And I was successful and able to do that. But I was also successful and able to get them in contact with certain other prominent people.
Do these guys, these insiders, have any fear of coming forward? I personally have talked to some whistleblowers who are allegedly afraid to speak because they will lose pension. They will basically, they and their family will not have a way to provide.
Yes, they will lose everything.
Okay.
If this is not done correctly and carefully.
Okay.
And
This is half the issue, obviously, with the whistleblowers coming forward. They don't want to because the government can just yeet. I'll take that, thank you very much. Pensions, gone. Livelihoods, gone. Credibility, gone. Everything, gone. You, personally, could possibly be gone. It's terrifying, and it's no wonder. And it's, these people are, you know, basically petrified into secrecy.
I don't know if these guys are coming forward. I can't specifically say that. I don't know. I just, maybe one day they will. Who knows?
Well, what do you think needs to happen, or you know, if you can convey kind of what these guys have said, what needs to happen or change in order for more firsthand participants like them to be able to come forward? Like, what needs to happen?
The tables need to flip as far as the majority of these people in these programs are good people. That's what I've from my own interactions with some of these people. Granted, I'm not working with everybody, right? But the ones that I know very well now, they're good people.
God damn it, my headphones died. Hang on. I'm just gonna quick interlude, plug you straight back in, and then it's not gonna destroy the viewing. Let's go.
Got their heart in the right place and they got the right mindset for this. What would need to happen is that the tables need to turn as far as them flipping the tables on their own programs, meaning taking control of them personally, getting the bad guys or neutralizing that, however, because what people need to understand is that this group is the enforcement arm of even the political corruption that's going on, because they have assets in certain places in government, local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, military, everywhere. So if they were able to single-handedly take the bad guys out or flip the script or gain control of that, because right now there's a war between the good and bad of these factions. The bad guys want to keep this secret and they want to keep this technology to themselves, and they want to commit crimes against humanity with this technology and have this power and control, while the good guys want this to come forward and everybody benefit from it, and us as a species be able to survive. Also, the fact that they know directly what is going on because they're living in this world. This is their day-to-day job, so to speak. So I think now that they have an opportunity to understand that this is affecting other people besides me, it's affecting all of us. Because we could really be far in life with this technology. And not only that, we could stop shooting down NHI craft. Because who's to say? I've never met any of them. I don't.
Now this is interesting because obviously he's talking there, not just about, shooting down UAP. That's one thing. He refers to it as NHI craft, non-human intelligent craft, which means that he's aware that somewhere down the line we have shot down non-human intelligent craft which has been piloted by NHI. Which obviously corroborates exactly what David Grush said in his original statement about non-human intelligent pilots, or he referred to them as interdimensional beings as well. The whole thing, just got to listen to the words being used. Like, someone like Michael Herrera won't throw these words around lightly. He will, he'll only say it if it can be backed.
Don't know any ETs or NHI. Never came face to face with them. What I can tell you is that I know that the universe is massive and there's multi-dimensional universes, or however this works with the theories that people have proposed. And if that really is the case, the possibility that we can come across a species that ain't going to be too friendly with us is a possibility. So you're telling, and this is what the concept is. So this,
and then you partner that up with the Soul Foundation releasing their paper on UAP threat levels. It all goes hand in hand, people. These people know more than they let on.
Group is going to target them, shoot them down in the deserts, all over the world, in secluded areas, and they are going to come across at a point maybe someday that they're going to shoot down the wrong type. And maybe that type becomes a type that decides that, hey, you know what?
Becomes hostile.
We don't need these people around. We don't need this species around. And they decide that we as people who don't even partake in that nonsense have to pay for it. Meaning that our lives end as they can instantly do it if they wanted to. With what I have been told and what I've understand how powerful they are, if they're able to travel interdimensionally and through time and space and be able to show up here and go to any other place that they want to go and be able to control craft through consciousness and be able to pretty much, the way that they even said that, and this is just speculation, of course, because I've never seen this personally, but the way that they are actually able to go through things, be interdimensional, so can be in 3D or just have the image of, but they can also pass through solid objects like it's almost their molecules or atoms splitting between all of those to separate them.
That's crazy, because obviously if we take this back to Miami Mall, right? The incident that happened back at the start of this year, this makes total sense. And when people talk about Project Bluebeam, right, it's supposed to be projections that the government make to kind of like test how people would react to a certain situation. This sounds just like that, where they can appear in 3D model or they can appear as a projection of themselves. This man is giving away so much information right now.
Somehow. So that's just speculation, but that's what I've been told. And so if you have something that advanced and some very smart that can end our lives, this whole planet if they wanted to, and for some reason they choose not to, but yet we keep shooting them down. And I mean us as a human species.
Right. So you described kind of the next step forward is for the good guys to kind of flip the tables on the bad guys.
Yes.
But what about the whole side of like legislation? I mean, is that still an important factor?
Well, that allows certain things to happen to where there's involvement from both sides. Because there's laws that have to be abided by. There has to be military involvement to an extent, and there's also has to be a law enforcement effort because essentially there's a lot of laws being broken with all of these, and that's kind of the thing that maybe they can get them on a technicality to get some laws passed that then now all of a sudden these guys can't hide within that because now there's proof that there's stuff going on that the law enforcement, like U.S. Marshals, for example, because they have jurisdiction everywhere, can be the ones to execute whatever they need to, right? That's just technically speaking.
And what about, like, how can we get more people like the insiders you're working with to come forward? Are there there seems to be kind of we have whistleblower protection, but it's really not enough.
It's really not enough, and that's exactly their concern.
Yeah, so what do they think needs to be done from that aspect?
These politicians need to get their shit together, and they can't be corrupt, and like we're seeing with the whole pushback of the eminent domain and all that kind of stuff, because these aerospace companies are paying some of these guys. So of course, hey, we'll throw you X amount of money if you play ball for us and make it to where it's hard for them to accomplish what they want, because then all of a sudden the game's up. Mm-hmm. These aerospace companies know what's going on. They're going to pretend that they don't, but they have access to this shit. And it may not even be the executives of these companies who know what's going on, but the contractors and the people that are within these groups know exactly what's going on and have access to it.
It is so corrupt. It is, like, when you listen to it this way, it is so corrupt.
And it's relatively a small number. It's not like every single Boeing personnel or Lockheed Martin or Raytheon or Northrop Grumman, for that matter, would have. Every single person knows what's going on. They don't. Only certain groups in that do.
And to touch quickly on what you were talking about shooting down these craft, are you aware of if in the program with these insiders, if there's kind of an ethical tug of war going on that?
100%.
Okay.
And that's kind of why they feel the need to want to divulge information to me, to spread it to you guys and to the world, for that matter. The other aspect of it too is over these installations that civilian aircraft are being targeted as well when they're flying into these temporary flight restricted areas, or TFRs. Innocent people, they will for a flight want to go see some scenic views of some of these areas that are beautiful nearby, but happen to stumble into the area just like we did at the wrong point of time, and now they get hit with these experimental weapons. Well, you can't even call them experimental because they're using them. Mm-hmm. They're not known, they're relatively, officially. Yeah.
Are you aware of what these offensive UAP weapons are, how they work?
Now this is, again, something that's boggled my mind to listen to, because obviously it's all speculated that we take craft, reverse engineer them, and use them for our benefit. But weapons, genuine weapons that are being used, man, I can't even.
I can't give specifics to it because a lot of them I only know of a few. But as far as the other ones that are more cutting edge, because again, they keep refining their systems because they want to make sure that they can just take them out with a single hit and have an easier time doing it, I would suppose. That's just speculation, but they're always refining their stuff. They're always refining their reverse engineer technologies as well, which is why they test these weapon systems on them. So they had explained that they put craft on balloons, have them go up to high altitude, and then they hit them with these weapons because there's nobody aboard, right? And then they also have them stationary on the ground, and they can hit them at different angles to make sure that it's. But what they have explained to me was that they're EMP proof. What they have, they are not vulnerable to any kind of modern ammunitions like rifle bullets or 50 cal machine gun ammo or ammunition or rounds. Missiles can't penetrate through their.
You're talking about UAP?
That they have, yes.
Okay.
Meaning? They, as in these groups. If they really
that
want.
That they've retrieved?
Well, that they've designed and made.
Oh,
and they
okay.
reverse engineered, yes.
So like the ARV reverse engineered?
Yes. Okay. Most of the ones that are coming out, and this is what some of the insiders had said, they are having a very hard time distinguishing the real craft from NHI compared to the ones that they've got. That's how far they've came with this technology. They can't identify one from the other. It's getting
Wow. This is scary stuff to think about, right? Because obviously warfare has advanced, and we are at a point in the world, as much as people want to bury their head in the sand with it, where there are global conflicts going on everywhere. We've obviously got Russia, Ukraine, we've got the issues in Gaza, we've got all sorts of stuff. And I don't want to get political, but to think that America has, it might not even just be America, it might just be people are so vocal over in America about it, might have, genuinely have this kind of technology is terrifying. Like, nuclear warfare will become a thing of the past. This is scary. This is really scary.
to that point.
So it's practically been a year since, almost to like within a week since
Yes.
you came forward.
Correct.
What's next for you? And like, has your motivation for coming forward now changed? Like, has your objective now changed now that you've met with the insider and kind of gotten involved? from
Yes.
that aspect?
Yes, it has, because
Right, I'm going to stop it there. If you guys want to go and check out the full video, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. But, oh my goodness, that is terrifying. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button if you have not already. Subscribe if you're new. And tickle my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload to the channel. And until next time, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed. I cannot wait to see you in the next one. And I'll speak to you later. Peace.